Yo, welcome to NS9 Live. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, our co-hosts, we have Jim, we have Ty. What's up, fellas?
What's going on? Happy Wednesday before winter meetings.
I'm excited.
I'm cold.
Tyler's pissed.
I'm already having internet issues, it's all
Tyler
lovely over here.
Oh my gosh. What is going on, Tyler? You got to back out of the stream and come back in.
Yeah.
We'll see you in a minute.
He's the worst. We're like 20 years into the
understand.
show. Tyler still can't just have functioning internet. What's up, Daniel? Barry?
He started talking there and nothing was coming out. And then 5 seconds later, you heard him.
Just awful. I'm sorry, everybody.
You can see he's doing breathing exercises. You all can't see him, but we can see him. He's like in his chair doing breathing exercises, trying to stay from hurling expletives.
Anyone see the?
It's not much better, is it?
Guy?
Now you're good. Now you're good.
You're good.
Okay. All right, we're making progress, baby. Lisbon, Ohio, getting better internet, maybe.
Yeah. Now we're good. Now we're good.
What a nightmare.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, guys,
my live night.
How you doing, Tyler?
Oh, I'm just loving. How's the weather down there in Florida? Because it's not great here.
It's cold, and by cold I mean it was 60 degrees today. It's dropping down to the 30s at night. I'm miserable. Yeah.
It apparently felt like 21 today.
That sucks. Because, like, I'm sorry, like, it sucks here right now. I can't fathom 21 degrees anymore.
It was 21 degrees here. Like, legitimately, the low today was 21.
I don't know what the low was, but I know we're supposed to get hit with the lake effect snow, and I'm tired of this already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's barely December.
It came quick, too.
I
mean, it's been nice and warm and then just cold.
Whatever happened to global warming? I thought that was supposed to last all the way through winter.
All right. I was rooting for it.
Air.
What was
all right.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like there's a lot to talk about,
yeah,
but like not a whole lot to talk about. Tonight's going to be a lot of like odds and ends, just little things happening. Again, it's the Pirates off season, so we're probably not going to talk about moves until like February 17th. So in the meantime, we're going to talk about some odds and ends and such. Before we do get any further, of course, BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA and college basketball, NHL, and UFC, head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that is BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. So, guys, on the docket tonight, we have, of course, Rob Manfred just continuing to change the game. He's discussed about a new rule change about the golden at bat. We're going to talk maybe some Roberto Clemente news, some little bit of Nick York and Paul Skenes. So how's that sound?
I like it. Yeah, let's get into it. What do we want to start? Do we want to start out with Pirates related stuff first and then move into the golden at bat? Let's do that.
Let's do it. How about this? Just fresh off the press, as a matter of fact. And we've discussed this. We had Chris on the show with us. The Roberto Clemente Commemorative Coin Act, right? You remember a while back, and then on Clemente Day, I put out the video that no one really watched, but hey, it's out there. I rehashed the video just so people could see it. Again, it was a nice opportunity. I think Roberto Clemente having a commemorative coin. We discussed that. It passed the House of Representatives tonight. So, like, the first step of having it come into fruition and creating a bill, right? Making the bill, becoming a bill. The first pass has passed. So it's now on to the Senate. So congratulations, Chris, and everyone involved. And good stuff.
Yeah. Congressman Chris DeLuzio from, I think, the Pennsylvania's 17th district. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. He was on here to discuss that last summer. And so, yeah, it's nice to see. It's nice to see something get done in Congress always, right? And the fact that it's a Roberto Clemente, commemoration is pretty cool. So, yeah, if you haven't watched that video, go back, watch it. There's a lot of good stuff in it. Kind of highlights everything about the bill. Not only is it a coin, but it's being it's really a fundraising effort that's going to go and help out a whole lot of people. So, yeah, great stuff by our local congressman. If you're in the Pittsburgh area, he co-sponsored the bill, and yeah, be on the lookout for a Roberto Clemente commemorative coin from the U.S. Mint.
Yeah, it is really cool. It's cool to have something about Roberto Clemente out there, but also, like, can we just rewind a little bit here? The fact that me with my dumb internet talk to a congressman on this podcast, what a wild turn of events. I can barely get on a show correctly, and we had me talk to a congressman.
Many people are saying it was actually your performance on that podcast that got this bill passed.
Well, many people will be right. Maybe I should.
That's got to be a highlight of the family tree of the Sweeneys.
Like of all the things I've ever done, I talked to a congressman on a podcast about a coin. That's probably up there, pretty high.
You helped make the push.
That was a simple way to put it, but like it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they actually played that podcast in.
I would hope so.
In Congress, they played it.
They're
like, here are my points, and as Tyler points out.
Yeah, I honestly think that should be played in the Senate.
I agree.
But yeah, good job to Chris. A lot of hard work he put into that.
And of course, Tyler.
And of course, me,
Tyler.
but I'm trying not to. But yeah, like, pat myself a little bit. But yeah, I mean, old Ty guy out here talking to congressmen, kissing babies, shaking hands, the whole thing.
Don't get any ideas.
I mean,
I feel real bad for your district.
I'm just saying, if you guys lived in the district, I feel like I'd have at least 2 votes.
Maybe.
You know what? I would vote for you, Tyler.
Thank you.
I would vote for you.
That's all I needed.
Anywho, so yeah, I felt pretty cool. Nice to give like an update on that since we did talk about and discuss it. So again, next step is the Senate, and we'll see what happens from there. So congratulations to everyone involved. And as always, we'll keep you updated on that. So I guess the next bit of news, Paul Skenes. You want to talk about Paul Skenes?
Sure. What's the latest on him?
Yeah. So he's joined the MLBPA as the
MLBPA.
MLBPA. Yeah, just Major League Players Association. He represents all major leaguers of every sport. It's the new Manfred baseball that we're entering.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Actually, I should probably bring that up here. I guess I don't know the actual title.
Do we want to actually read what it is? So Major League Baseball announced its newly elected 8-member executive subcommittee. And there's some veterans on that list like Cedric Mullins, Chris Bassett, Marcus Semien, Brent Sutter. But Paul Skenes has been elected by his peers to the 8-person subcommittee. So he's now part of Major League Baseball union leadership, which is pretty cool for the upcoming season. So yeah, 22-year-old, 6 months basically since his major league debut, 7 months since his major league debut, and his peers already elected him to lead their union. So kind of interesting stuff there. I don't know if we can really read into this if it means anything other than just Paul Skenes has the respect of his peers, and he must have presented a good argument as to why he should have held this position, and they voted him in. I don't know if there's much to read into this other than that, but yeah, congratulations to Paul Skenes, I guess.
Dude, to be a fly on the wall in that little speech he gave to be elected. Oh yeah, I think I just like to be here and maybe like just show the young guys the way. Yeah, that'd be nice.
I'm just shocked that like that didn't bother him from missing out on practice. You know, like he had to give a speech, and well, I should be lifting. I shouldn't be here. But like I'm with you too. Like this is kind of cool in the sense of that fact. I mean, this is a rookie. He's barely a major leaguer as it is, and now he is representing his union. Like this is kind of again like the respect that he's gained already among everyone. Like here, you do that, but there is a part of this that's like, man, he's on the dark side in the grand scheme of things. You know, like the Pirates have a guy in here already, and we already know there's some issues with the Pirates at MLBPA. So now there's a representative in Paul Skenes. And Paul Skenes is, again, he's fresh. So you think about, you know, extensions, all kinds of stuff. Like he represents the MLBPA now. And
you need to stop saying MLPA.
Why do I say that? It's the MLB, and I turn into a P, I guess. MLBPA.
And I don't think we need to read into this as Paul Skenes is. Like this has nothing to do with potential Paul Skenes extension talks. I mean, that I don't think that has anything to do with this. I think he wanted a leadership role in his union, and he's doing that, and good for him. We should applaud it. And I mean, I'm sure he's gonna take the tenacity of him of just how he approaches everything to this, which is a good thing.
Still interesting.
I didn't say it's not interesting. I didn't say it's not interesting. I just said I don't think we need to read into this as in Paul Skenes is now anti-Pittsburgh Pirates because he's a leader in the players union.
And I'm not doing that by any means, but he does represent a side. It's interesting. That side hasn't been very favorable towards the Pittsburgh Pirates. Again,
I would argue the Pirates haven't been very favorable to the union.
Well, but again, there's reasons why they, yeah, right. That's all.
You know what?
Hey, maybe he helps bridge the gap.
Hey, I haven't paid any attention to literally any MLB union leaders. Is he the youngest one to do it?
I don't know if he's the youngest person to ever be on this subcommittee. I got to imagine he's up there, though. Yeah. I mean, he's 22.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's normal to have a second-year player be selected to that committee.
Yeah. Like, he's not the team rep or anything. Like, that's not what this is. Yeah. This is the executive subcommittee.
Yeah, like I can't imagine that too many second-year players have been elected to that.
Yeah, I mean, the youngest person I guess I'm seeing here who's not him is Jake Cronenworth. But I guess Cronenworth's still in his is like 30 now.
Yeah. I say, how old's Scooble?
Scooble's young too. Yeah, that's a good one. But Scooble's actually, I mean, this is like his 4th year.
But still.
So he's probably 25, 26. Like
he's 20.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, Skenes is by far the youngest person on this committee.
I'm just imagining these guys like politicking around trying to get elected to a union board.
Yeah, I don't know how much it's been a while since I've been a part of any sort of union election process. It's been a while since I've been in a union, but I do remember there wasn't like a speech or anything. I remember flyers and stuff being handed out, but I don't know how they do it.
Can you imagine Paul Skenes making flyers?
Yeah, I don't know how they do it there.
I'm actually imagining Livy. Livy's at Kinko's, like all giddy, you know, like, oh, I'm getting my boyfriend elected to the union.
He had no desire to be on this union. We'll
see the TikTok in a week of how it was done.
True. Good call.
But
oh,
yeah,
good for him. That's pretty cool.
Yep. Okay, so I guess we'll just move on past that. The next bit of news, it's news, whatever. We'll see. Fangraphs had an article put out about Nick York. I found it kind of interesting, to talk about because you made the trade. The Pirates traded Quinn Priestley to Boston, got Nick York, utility guy, second, had a pretty strong bat. But how good can he be and such? And there was a lot of interesting tidbits, basically like how he changed his swing. The Boston Red Sox are kind of making him want to, as he put, use the wall, right? They teach a lot of guys, I guess, to use the monster, use the green wall out there. And he was just more or less like this isn't my swing. This isn't working for me. And this year he just changed things up and found some success. I don't know. What do you guys think about this article and Nick York? Jim, I know you brought it up.
Yeah, so I mean, every once in a while, Fangraphs, David Lorilla does like the just talks hitting with people. When we talked about Matt Haig a few weeks ago, this was that was him who talked about with Matt Haig about hitting. So, talked with Nick York. Article came out today on Fangraphs. We'll link it in the description, I would imagine. But if you haven't read it yet, just go to Fangraphs. It's on the front page. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It looks like, he was drafted, had some immediate success, and then the Red Sox kind of had this philosophy of, hey, you're going to be playing half your games in Fenway Park. We're going to have to use this monster. They tweaked his approach, tweaked his swing so that he, was more pulling in the air type of deal. And I mean, you look at Nick York's minor league numbers, it's not like he ever really struggled by any means. But I guess he didn't really like what he was doing. Like you did see like his strikeouts go up quite a bit in high A and double A. Batting average dipped in double A his first season there. And then, going into this season, he changed his approach, kind of went back to, hey, I'm going to use the whole field. I'm going to hit the barrel to the ball. I'm just going to hit the ball hard where it's pitched. And we all know the success that he had last season, especially in AAA, and then ultimately making his major league debut at age 22. So, yeah, it looks like he made that tweak over this past offseason. It worked pretty well for him. He started the year in Double A, ended the year in the majors, and now he's in the Pirates organization. Pirates must have liked what they saw, and apparently, like, York's been on the Pirates' radar for a while now. I know that was said whenever he was acquired, but yeah, I mean, Nick York, cool little article. It's not like super in depth by any means, but it does kind of break down how he changed his approach, changed his stance a little bit this season, and it worked really well for him.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what we've talked about a lot of times, where a lot of organizations, and we talk about the Pirates a lot and their philosophies. And it's not just them, but other organizations as well. They will have a sort of one size fits all approach to things. And Nick York, I think, is kind of the exception to that rule, where he's a guy that's a gap to gap type of power guy. He's going to be a doubles guy. Teaching him to hit over the big green monster's probably not ideal for him. But obviously, the Red Sox have people a lot smarter than me that found something they thought would work for him. Didn't work out for him. Sometimes a change of scenery just does work for a guy, and getting them back to what got them here does work. So I don't know if it's anything to super read into or anything the Pirates did really well, as much as it's just, hey, the change of scenery helped. I don't know how good Nick York will be, but there's some interesting things there with him.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's pretty much what he came out and said. It's like, it's a philosophy they have there, but he just, to him personally, he's like, hitting to the stadium, to the field, just doesn't make any sense. Like, just hit to my strengths. Like, just be me. Let me be me. More or less is what he was coming to. And he's like, I'm just going to be me. And, he struggled the first like month and a half, 2 months, whatever it was. And he started like coming to his own and playing. And once he got, called up to AAA, like things just really clicked for him. And you saw him be the hitter that he was. And he came over to Pittsburgh and he gave kudos to the Pirates. Like, and they they gave me the plan. They wanted me to do what they want to see from me. And, I liked it. And he continued doing. And again, like their plan may have been the same thing. Like, no, just keep doing what you're doing. Like this is the version of you we want also. But also like they don't have a green monster at PNC Park. So like they wouldn't play into the same things. But it was kind of interesting as well, because it is nice and refreshing sometimes, because yes, we do harp on the Pirates quite a bit. It's like, why are you so stuck in your ways? And to see that Boston was like, hey, we want our players to do this. And like Nick York do this, even though it doesn't really play into your strengths. You do see other systems, have these tendencies as well. So there's some perspective there. But anyways, yeah, it's nice to see this come out of Nick York and what he's doing, and I guess kind of reaffirm how well you think Nick York could be. And again, like how good that bat is going to be. He's not going to be a power guy, so like he's going to have to hit for contact. He's going to have to hit for average, and that's what he was doing. When he got called up, it wasn't great, but small sample size. He held his own. So yeah, like it's nice to see that, and he's with the Pirates now. We'll see what he can do, but yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting spring for him too. Like he certainly doesn't have a roster spot locked up. I think he's in the mix for one, kind of, especially depending what happens this offseason. I think the versatility aspect of just being able to play multiple positions helps him. But at the end of the day, the bat is what's going to get him to the majors and allow him to stay in the majors, is if he can hit. Like if he can hit, the Pirates will figure out somewhere to put him. If he can't, then he'll be your backup utility, fourth outfielder, whatever you want to do, call him up when people get hurt, that sort of thing. He's still only 23 years old. He got to the majors really fast. So I think, starting the year in AAA next year isn't like a knock on him. It's just, hey, you got to still get a little bit better before you're ready for this. But it's going to be it's an interesting offseason for him. It's going to be an interesting spring for him. He's got a lot he's playing for. And really, I think more than anything, just trying to find out like where does he fit on this team from a roster construction standpoint. Can he be an everyday second baseman? Is he an everyday left fielder? Or is he kind of, playing a little bit everywhere when needed? Yeah, just kind of carving out whatever his role is going to be.
DiNardo mentioned how it's refreshing to see somebody actually change something when they come to the Pirates. It is a good reminder that, like, even I know we harp on the Pirates a lot, but it's a good reminder that a lot of teams do also screw up some prospects. Like, they have their own organizational philosophies. A lot of these hitting coaches or farm directors, they want to like stamp their name on a certain player or on players. There's a lot of egos involved here. So sometimes it's nice to take a step back and be like, yeah, well, maybe the change of scenery does matter to some of these guys. Like, just getting a fresh start does make a difference. I don't know if it'll work for Nick York, but it might not always be the Pirates that are wrong. Other organizations do the same exact thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's no lie there. There's absolutely no lie there.
Yeah, the final paragraph of this article, again, definitely worth just you can get through it in 3 minutes or so. But Lorilla asks, "Is there anything different for you here with the Pirates?" And he says, "Not really. The guys here are awesome. I was in Indianapolis for a month or so after the trade, and the guys there were awesome as well. Coming into this organization, I mean, they had a pretty good plan for me, and what they wanted to see and what they wanted me to keep doing. I've kind of just run with that." So that was the end of the interview. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like he's happy here. He's got a chance to succeed. He's got a chance to play Major League Baseball.
For sure. Yeah, I'm happy he's a Pirate.
We'll see.
I like him. I like him as a prospect.
We'll see.
I like the trade when it happened. Reading this, made me feel more comfortable about him. So yeah, we'll see. But also by any means, like this not also me stamping like he needs to be a starter. Like the Pirates need to push. It's nice to have Nick York in your back pocket, but push.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. So do you want to get to the big stuff? Are we done with the Pirates?
Sure.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, I think that's about it, really.
So before we do that, just to kind of bring something up here. I know a lot of you have been asking for it, especially when I'm not on a show and I'm in the chat and I'm always constantly spamming emojis to you folks, and you're like, "Where's mine?" Memberships are back. So I'll let everyone know, if you're in the chat right now, or if you're listening and going to be in the future chats or whatnot, our memberships are back. A little different this time. Now, yes, there still is our Patreon. That's where we do like our MVPs and have all the major stuff, all the stuff we're usually having our MVP tiers for YouTube. So we decided we'll bring it back, but we're just making it 99 cents. That's it. Just 99 cents for memberships. So one tier, one size fits all on YouTube. You do get a lot of the perks as far as like the emojis. You'll get your badge next to your name, show you how long you've been a member for. You will have early access to videos when we upload them. And then, of course, you have priority of comments. So we see who is a member. If you're up there with 10 other people's comments, we'll make sure we get to yours before others. So again, just 99 cents. That's all it is. You get the emojis back. Let's have some fun again, boys. I'm excited about this.
Go team.
Yeah. Emojis.
Go team.
Fun.
And there we go. Rob, thanks for being our first member on stream. I do know there's someone joining. I should have checked. Someone did join as a member already.
Silver Sponges joined.
Okay. I was going to say, I'll give you a shout out when I find it. Shout out to Silver Sponges. Shout out to Rob Nedley, our first two renewed members.
Yeah.
V.2. Awesome. And Rob says he was the first the last time. So
there you go. Love you, Rob.
All right. So the title of the show, basically, Rob Manfred. He has discussed and talked about, well, he always does. And like, I'll give him credit. He's trying to improve the game. He's trying to improve the game. Doesn't necessarily mean he's improving the game, but he's trying. And we've given him some hate in the past. I'm just kind of setting this up. The pitch clock. Like, don't do that. Honestly, you know what? Kind of like the pitch clock. The guy in second, still dumb. I'm glad it's not playoff rule, but still kind of dumb. There's been some stuff we've liked. There's been some things, right? There's definitely some things that we don't like. So the newest rule he's talking about is the golden at-bat. And fellas, what this is any team has one opportunity during the game that they can go ahead and designate a hitter to come up to the plate. And it could be a big moment. So like in the instance of talking about, like, bases are loaded and you have your 8-hitter up. Do you want the 8-hitter up? Like, do you want Jared Triolo up, or would you rather have O'Neal Cruz up? That's the situation we're talking about. So the manager has an opportunity to say, you know what? O'Neal Cruz, you get in there. We're batting you out of order. This is the moment. We're using our golden at-bat role. Do it. Fellas, what are we doing here? Ty, what is your take on this as a pitching ninja?
So maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I mentioned the little role of just being able to hit whoever you want, and it was more of a joke. Basically, you could hit whoever you wanted every single inning over and over again. So you could use defensive specialists, whatever you want to do with your lineup. Have 3, 4, 5 good hitters. Thought it was an interesting type of idea. Not something I really want to see in Major League Baseball. Kind of seems like he sort of took part of that and just threw it out there into the air to see what would happen. I don't foresee this role ever happening. It seems kind of like it was just floated out there as an idea and everybody's ran with it. What I think about the rule is that it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. It completely just destroys the entire fabric of baseball in general. It's not baseball anymore. When you do the pitch clock, you're not changing the actual game of baseball. When you do the man on or the guy on second base in extra innings, you are changing baseball. To me, this is in that category where you are changing the fabric of the rules with it. It's completely stupid. I see no planet where this ever would go through. It's just completely dumb. And to me, it's just throwing a Band-Aid over the entire problem of Major League Baseball with trying to get more eyeballs on it and trying to get the star power. Really, to me, if you're just trying to get fans to be more interested in the game, there are way better options for you. It's just going to take a lot more work. This is just a Band-Aid over a bullet hole to me. It's so stupid, dude. Like, the fact that he even floated it's kind of stupid. Don't even mention it. You should. Is there nobody else in that office? Actually, there definitely isn't, because they let him just say the World Series was a piece of metal. So obviously nobody around him can tell him when something's stupid that he's about to say.
Maybe it was Paul Skenes.
He just says
maybe
stupid
Paul's
stuff.
like, I'm not challenged enough. I want your best hitter as many times as I can.
I'm riling myself up, but this is so stupid. It's not even funny. Like, this is dumb. Flat out dumb. Stupid, dumb, dumb. And Rob Manfred's kind of dumb too, so I get it. It's dumb.
Well, shout out to Pit City What for the 199. It says Manfredo watched basketball movie recently, right?
Jim? All right, so just to keep things from being boring, right? I'm not. Let's argue why this is a good thing, right?
Sure, Jim.
I'm gonna have to both sides it now.
No, let's.
I set myself up to be last.
First off, Pit City What says, did Manfred watch basketball? Basketball is an incredibly entertaining movie. The idea of basketball is awesome. I would watch a basketball. I would watch the basketball playoffs, whatever. It's like an 11-month playoff tournament. I would watch that every night, right? So, like, give me basketball. If we need to make baseball more basketball-ish, whatever, do it. But to counter Tyler's point, yeah, it is a way to increase star power, because guess what everyone complains about when it comes to Major League Baseball? We need to promote our stars more. The average casual fan doesn't know who Mike Trout is. The average fan doesn't know who these players are. This gives everyone the opportunity every single game to basically wait for like that. All right, what's going to be the big moment of today's game? And it gives you as a fan the opportunity, like, okay, when should we use this guy? When should we use this? When, like, should today's golden at bat be O'Neal Cruz or should it be Brian Reynolds? Right? It's going to depend. Is it going to be a lefty pitcher? Is it going to be a righty pitcher? What's the situation going to call for? So there's strategy involved. I think a lot of people said like this takes away from the strategy of like building a lineup and constructing a roster. Like, yeah, it does a little bit, but it also adds a whole new strategy to this. The other thing too is it just, again, we're talking about a sport that we want to draw people to. We want entertaining moments. This rule basically guarantees so many more memorable moments being created throughout the course of a season. If during the biggest spot of every single major league game, a manager can pick and choose like, hey, I'm going to make this moment special, they're doing that. And each team gets to do that once. So you're creating two opportunities for like a huge moment. Whether that's the 9th inning, you're down by 3, you got runners on first and second, and you're like, hey, you know what? O'Neal Cruz, you're up. Go in there. It's not your opportunity. It's supposed to be, Austin. You're supposed to be Henry Davis is at bat, but O'Neal Cruz, you get in there too. I just want to argue the counter argument here. There are reasons why this rule would be exciting, and it's not like baseball's never changed the game before, right? I mean, they've made multiple changes to the game to make it more entertaining. The designated hitter wasn't a thing for 100 years, right? And then they bring the designated hitter in, and all of a sudden, you change the game that way in an entire league, and then they ended up changing it for this. You could say that, yeah, OG here. This rule would have taken the bat out of Mazeroski's hands in 1960. Yeah, but you know what? It also would have taken the bat out of Austin Hedges' hands in the 8th inning of a 1-run game 10 times 2 seasons ago, right? For the Pittsburgh Pirates. So like, yeah, you're maybe, and we're not backdating this rule. It's not like this rule is going to apply for 1960. We're talking about going forward. Your opportunity for memorable moments increases a ton with this rule. You want to see Shohei Ohtani against the best pitcher in the game at the end of the game in the biggest moment. You get to see him maybe not even once. Maybe you get to see him twice, right? Like Shohei Ohtani against a closer. Closer wins a really good battle. Oh, you know what? Shohei just stepped right back in that box again for round 2. We get to see round 2 of that, right? I think there's some very entertaining elements to this rule that would appeal to a whole lot of people. I think you could definitely argue, yeah, the purity of the game. The game is being changed this way. The game's been changed multiple times over 150 years, all the time. So, yeah, I think it could be actually an entertaining idea that that a lot of people would enjoy. With that being said, I think it's the dumbest rule I've ever heard for Major League Baseball.
You don't get to claim that. You picked the side. You drew the line in the screen, and you said, I'm taking this one. I'm for it. So I get to play both sides now. Listen, like I said before, Manfred's trying to improve the game. Like I can appreciate that mentality. This rule to me though just sounds as it's like, oh, first off, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. But I think we should talk about it. That's why we're talking about it. I actually appreciate him bringing it up because, like, honestly, if there's one thing that you're like, this sounds drastic. How are people going to take it? Well, you get the idea out there, and then you kind of find out, right? You go on YouTube and you find all the videos and how everyone's reacting to it. You know, you get that feedback before anything. It's like, okay, you know what? We're too early for this. We're not going to do it, right? So this is like market research is what he's doing. He's throwing something crazy out there and saying, what's the response going to be? If people are crazy enough saying, you know what, that's actually a good idea, then he might start thinking like, well, maybe we should push forward for this. Maybe we should have having real dialogue. But this is probably going to be shut down as it should. Fine. The thing about this is I kind of sided Tyler's point. Like it's changing. It's a drastic change. It's fundamentally changing baseball, much like the runner on second. That's why I didn't really agree with that because it's just a complete change of the game. It happened. It happened. So they're not too worried about that. But what I think about this to me is much more, I don't want to say damaging, but it's much more impactful than the runner on second because of that. You're like, okay, there's a guy on second base that wasn't before, but like almost whatever. But if you could be in that situation, like Ohtani's up the bat. I use the example on Twitter. Aaron Judge is up the bat. Bases are loaded. There's one out. Aaron Judge is up. And you know what? He struck out. And then Aaron Boone says, turn your ass back around. You're going right back up there. You know what he did. Go and get us some runs now. And Aaron Judge goes right back up to the plate. Right? 2 straight outs he gets to make. Back-to-back at-bats. I can understand like that can be entertaining. And I do agree with you also, Jim. It takes away from strategy, but it adds a new element of strategy because you only get one chance. So when's that opportunity going to be when you use that? You know what I mean? Like you might think this is the moment, but then later in the game comes the actual moment. It's like, damn it, I could have done it now. I should have done it now. And as Pirates Twitter, we all get to yell at Derek Shelton for using the golden rule at the wrong time, right? So like there's still strategy involved. There's still going to be people that are yelling. Of
Neil will get to defend it on the post game show every time.
Right. And then Paul's going to be in the comments. but I just feel like if you're going this route, what it's also doing is there's a bit of a problem when you're changing something so drastic. You're almost admitting that your product isn't good. And that's what I feel like this is doing. But like if you have to make such drastic changes, there's self-admittance that, you know what, like our product just isn't good. We really have to change things. And baseball's doing well. As much as everyone talks and talks and talks about baseball's dying, It's not. We're seeing the money, we're seeing the people, right? Like, it's not really dying. This to me is more of a desperate move later down the line when it's like, we need to change the game. Now's time for drastic measures. It ain't the time yet. So that's just where I'm at. This could be something that happens in 50 years. We had a show about XLB. We made all the rules about if we're going to do an XLB, right? What would happen? What would we like to see? This actually was one of them, right? I think not this particular, but I think we had an idea of like every inning, just change your lineup, just do whatever you want. This is an XLB game. And like basketball, I would appreciate an XLB game because I want to watch XLB. But when I want to watch Major League Baseball, give me Major League Baseball.
You know what? I did want to poo-poo you there, DiNardo, when you were saying that the game has improved, but truthfully, it has. Like, compared to a few years ago, the game is a lot more watchable than it was. And Rob Manfred does deserve credit for that, because the pitch clock has made the game a lot more watchable. I hate the runner on second. It's stupid. It's not baseball, but it is what it is.
26-man rosters.
Right. The shift, I hated it at first. It grew on me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is just completely changing the game, and that's, again, to go back to the runner on second. You're changing the game again. At least with the runner on second, like in younger leagues of baseball or smaller leagues, that's kind of a rule. This thing's just not in existence. Like, my question would be, at what point does this start to trickle down to younger levels? Or then you're just destroying the entire next generation of baseball as well. Because you're not doing any favors for any future generations. They're going to follow this rule. And then your top 3 hitters, when you're 8 years old, are going to hit the entire game. You just killed an entire future generation. And I know I'm just extrapolating things to younger levels, but they will follow that. And you're just killing every single level of it. And it's not baseball anymore. It just doesn't work. There's better ways to go about growing the game, and this just isn't it.
So DiNardo made yeah. So the point that going back to basketball, which we could just talk base. We should just have a basketball podcast, to be honest with you. But going back to basketball, like if I'm watching basketball, I'm watching basketball to watch basketball, right? It's like if you're a basketball fan, the Harlem Globetrotters are awesome. They're fun to watch if you've ever gone to see them. The And One tour, when I don't know if that's still a thing, but I remember going to see them one time, and like that, it's super entertaining, right?
You went?
Yeah. So like when you see stuff like that, like it's fun, it's entertaining, it's exciting, right? But it's not the NBA. It's not Power 4 basketball, right? And that's exactly what this is, right? In baseball, you've got the Savannah Bananas, right? If you haven't been a Savannah Bananas game or you don't know who they are, look them up. But it's a pretty much the Harlem Globetrotter equivalent to the game of baseball. It's highly entertaining. There's a lot of really fun rules like this. This is a rule in Banana Ball. This rule exists. But there's a lot of highly entertaining rules where when you're there and you're watching it, it's fun, it's exciting, but it's not Major League Baseball. It's something completely different. And it's more geared towards the entertainment aspect as opposed to the competition aspect. And that's where I think sports like the NBA and the Harlem Globetrotters are different, right? Like the Harlem Globetrotters beat the Washington Generals every single time, but it's not because there's a competition, really. It's just because, that's just how it goes. The Savannah Bananas win a lot of their games, I would imagine, but that's just because they've got better players. But Major League Baseball is the competition is first and foremost. The entertainment, it's entertaining because it is competitive, right? That's the reason. And adding something like this makes Major League Baseball more gimmicky, like those sorts of things. And that's where you start having an issue with just really the integrity of the game. If we kind of just go down that route. But yeah, like if you want to watch this type of baseball, it exists and it's entertaining and it's fun. But this type of stuff doesn't belong at the highest level of the sport.
Also,
You know, I just
nobody cares who wins in those games.
Yeah,
we care who wins in Major League Baseball.
No one goes to a Harlem Globetrotters game decked out in Washington Generals gear and is like, "This, we're finally gonna get them today, you guys."
Ted Mosby does in How I Met Your Mother.
That's right.
But you know what? I thought about something too. I'm curious, like the ramifications on this, because think about this as well. There's 30 teams, and to use this rule, you want to probably use your best player, and your best player might not be able to go at bat. I assume if your best player is on second, you can't like put a ghost runner on and call him up. I don't know all the details of this. I assume he has to stay on second. You call like your second best hitter or whatnot. But like, think about this. Just use Shohei Ohtani for, well, that's a bad example because you could use all 9 players on the team. Use Bobby Witt Jr. Great example. Bobby Witt Jr. on the Royals, right? How much is he now worth? Because you're taking a guy who's probably getting 600 plate appearances a year to now maybe 700. Like, does this separate the stars and scrubs, for lack of words, of baseball as far as salaries now even? Because it's like, hey, listen, I'm way more valuable because I was used 100 more times this year. And you're taking a 10 WAR player and making him an 11 WAR player potentially, right? So like, what are the ramifications that you're doing as far as salaries and value now, as far as like your star? And I get it, like you want your stars to shine, blah, 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 and all that too. But it's like, you know what? Juan Soto, you want $700 million because you did this. Well, now add 100 more plate appearances. Add,
Well, and imagine like being able to pick and choose your spots when you get to choose. Like imagine getting to pick 160 of Aaron Judge's plate appearances. So like, hey, Aaron Judge, we're going to give you 160 plate appearances extra this year. And a lot of them are going to be in situations where like you are going to be very successful. We're going to put you up against a soft tossing lefty who's just up there throwing balls, trying to like what if you're just like a lefty reliever comes in? Lefty reliever comes in, Aaron Judge at bat immediately, and he gets 160 extra at bats against left-handed pitching. And he's hitting an additional 25 home runs because of that. And so all of a sudden, Aaron Judge's 60 home run season becomes an 85 home run season, right? Like that's kind of where you can get into like this thing can get weird. And it can make your stars like just put up crazy numbers.
You can really skew seasons. If you're in a batting title race or a home run race, or you know what? Your team that maybe not going for anything, here you go. Aaron Judge, back-to-back plate appearances against their worst reliever right now.
Aaron Judge launches a homer. All right, Aaron Judge, just go up there and do that again.
Yeah, go back up. Ben Heller's on the mound.
Ben
Heller's on the mound.
Home, pick up your bat and step back up.
That's a whole other aspect. Yeah. Again, like just changing the fabric of the game. You can really skew some records here and like cheat, kind of.
Well, man, you get another, let's say you want to do it every time the bases are loaded. I mean, or runners on second and third. Like, how many extra plate appearances do you get with runners in scoring position? Hack Wilson's RBI record is one of those records where like that it's almost impossible to break. Like that's one of baseball's records that like no one's really gotten all that close to it. And so like that Hack Wilson RBI record is all of a sudden in danger when you start giving your best hitters 150 plus plate appearances with runners in scoring position.
I don't know, man. I go back to the development portion of it. What does this do for development in general? How many guys get kind of left behind because either they're at a younger level or they're in the minors or even in the pros where they're not getting those at bats? I know it's not the biggest deal in the world, but there's going to be guys missing opportunities because we just completely changed the game. And where does it stop? Is the XMLB the next step? Because people still aren't tuning in because they're bored of it after 3 years. And okay, how many more times do I have to watch Aaron Judge hit the ball 1 out of 3 times? Where does it stop? Because at some point, it'll just keep going down the line. Like, you have to have a hard line at some point. And to me, the hard line is just at least keep the rules and the way the game is played the same. Like you mentioned the DH. At least college is a thing, high school it's a thing, Little League it's a thing. It's a part of baseball everywhere you look. It just wasn't in the majors. This is something just being implemented in just the majors, if it were to happen, which it won't.
It also, on the opposite end, we're talking about like chasing stuff and whatever. What about incentives? Like, what if every second Rowdy at bat, they golden ruled him and they didn't have to DFA him 4 plate appearances before cutting him because now he doesn't get that many? You could decentivize because people are becoming close incentives. So you just start golden ruling them so they don't hit that incentive.
Exactly. There you go.
I mean, you could.
Paul Skenes will be pissed.
Rowdy may have made that extra $250K if he had this role back when he was on fire in July or June or whenever it was.
No, they just would have DFA'd him like 5 games sooner.
Every game that kid was at, you would make sure Rowdy got an extra at bat.
Yeah, I don't like this rule. I like the rule in a fun league. That'd be cool to just pick a spot, go up there and hit again. Like, I would love to see Aaron Judge hit back to back, but not in Major League Baseball.
I would probably not watch anymore if they implemented this rule. I'd be done. But you're not playing baseball anymore. I don't care to watch you.
I'm going to say that you would still watch.
Yeah.
I don't think I would.
You would.
This team's already exhausted me enough, man. I don't need the league to make me even more tired.
The first time, though, Derek Shelton puts like G1 Bay in there as the golden at bat.
Well, think about that aspect too. Like, think this past year. I mean, Brian Reynolds gets on. Oh no, Cruz gets on.
And you just put Reynolds. I would imagine you could probably still hit somebody who's on base, and you just like swap base runners.
Can
like
you?
Because what you would just do in that situation is you would just hit Brian Reynolds again or O'Neal Cruz.
So then you would put G1.
Yeah, like how many times have we said like, oh man, if Brian Reynolds doesn't do something here, it's over.
Yeah. Now he gets to do it like back-to-back times.
Yeah. Now we get two options. My mic keeps falling over.
It hates this rule too.
I just feel like it's a Band-Aid here. Because I feel like what they're trying to do is just get more fans invested. But in reality, to get more fans invested, you need more teams to be competitive year after year. And the ways to do that just aren't going to happen. So we have to throw these little Band-Aids on things and try to figure it out in the short term. When fans like ourselves and other Pirates fans who are, well, we're not casuals, but other casual Pirates fans aren't tuning in because they're not competitive. So you need to make these teams more competitive. That's the fix. People will tune in if they have a shot year after year. People stop tuning in when they know your team stinks every year. They're not going to watch. Nobody wants to watch a team lose 100 games every single year. That's the fix. Find a way to make the entire league more competitive.
I'm also curious, does this allow all players to be eligible? Like, what if you're playing platoons, right? You take a guy out because the lefty's in. Now a righty's up. Could he re-enter the game as the golden at bat? Again, like, it's just there's a lot of nuance to this. and it just everything just changes. Jim, you're on mute.
Jim's on mute.
I love it, but you're on mute.
Yeah, I think you just have to. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it would work. But to Tyler's point, the one thing that he did say that I think we can kind of take from this is, if we want to kind of end this conversation, is that there's no chance this is happening. It's not happening at all. I think pitchers would be livid. Imagine you being a pitcher. You just worked your ass off to strike out Aaron Judge, and you got to go back and do it again.
They're trying to make money too. Yeah. Though, again, it would have been entertaining when Ben Heller was up that Aaron Judge went up twice.
Nick brings up a good point here too. Is this all just a Rob Manfred masterclass?
Could you imagine having a guy have to face?
Oh, Tyler's did that thing again where he was
late.
But what if Manfred just floated this to just get us talking about baseball with nothing else going on?
Could be. Right before the winter meetings? Could be.
Yeah.
It's a distraction from Juan Soto signing to the Pirates. City, so that's why Paul joined the board. Stop this garbage. Yeah, but again, I mean, it gets people talking. That's what we're doing right now. And ultimately, I mean, it could just be just like I said too, like just it's just wild. But let's just see what the response is. Clearly, it's wildly in one direction of stop it, and it's going to stop. But I appreciate ideas. Just try to work on good ideas. That's all.
I'm kind of tired of the stupid ideas being floated.
Well, then the next time it comes up, we'll talk about it again.
And to be fair, I didn't think the banning of the shift would ever happen. That's why things like this concern me when he opens his mouth.
The difference with the shift thing is that, I mean, we saw it in the minors. We saw it. The shift, I understand, and I understand why they did it, because like baseball needed more balls in play, and they needed more of those balls in play to become hits. So I understand that. Yeah,
I get it too, but I don't know. I'm always worried about any time Rob Manfred opens his mouth that at some point in 5-10 years we might see it.
I don't think so.
I don't either. Like, this is so off the wall and dumb.
The thing that we're going to see next is the challenge system. Like, that's going to be in the majors probably by 2026.
Yeah.
Also, good idea.
Yeah, I love it.
By the time this is all said and done, we're going to be like, Rob Manfred actually did pretty well.
I think
like when we look back at everything and the role changes, we're going to be like, yeah, those all kind of worked out.
I think like you said, DiNardo, I think it's a mixed bag. Like, he's done things that I haven't agreed with. Like the runner on second rule, I'm not a fan of. The DH, I still would have preferred it not to have come to the NL, but like, it's fine. Like, I'm not going to throw a fit about it.
The bigger bases.
The pitch clock was a home run. Home run.
You mentioned bigger bases. That I also would consider that a very good call.
I'll say bigger bases, good call. The holding runners role, I don't like.
I do like getting rid of the shift though. Now,
yeah,
didn't like it at the time. I like it now.
I will say though, I do think overall he's done well. He's gotten a lot of hate. But like you're saying, when you look back at it, kind of see what's been put in front of you, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, 3 batter minimum too, another one.
Yeah,
which I don't love that one.
Hate that.
But yeah, there's been a lot of changes to the game since he's taken over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're probably right about a mixed bag.
But I think overall positive.
I would lean more positive, and that's the sad part because I hate the dude. I think he has.
I think the
stupid
reason
ideas.
why you lean positive is because the pitch clock is so good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Like that helps out a lot.
It does.
Yep.
Unless you're trying to do the 999 challenge.
True.
It really cut down your time allotted to do that.
Yeah, I do like the pitch clock. And I will say a lot of the ideas and a lot of the things he's implemented, I hated it the first time I heard him. Pitch clock was definitely one of them. I didn't like it at all. And then I remember Jim telling me about the minor league games he attended and how noticeably different it was. And then going to spring training and seeing it was like, man, this is nice.
Yeah, I agree. I do miss the drama in it come postseason, but that's a give and take that I can absolutely live with this point of time because it is noticeable. Those games, like I feel like it's not that it's packing action in. Like I think we're all like, well, it's kind of not up in arms, but like discussing. Like it's still baseball. It's not going to be like basketball where it's constant. I mean, what difference is that really going to make? But when the game's over and you sit back and it's like, wow, it's just 9 or 9:30. I still have the rest of my night now. That's impactful. And, like you don't really notice it until the game's over. And it's like, damn, that the game's done. That's kind of cool. So I do, like I said, I do appreciate ideas. He has had some very good ones. I know he gets a lot of hate when his ideas start rattling off, but he has had some good ones. Yes, they've been mixed with some bad ones too. And I think this is nothing. There's no legs to this. It is dialogue though. Get shut down. Move on to the next one. As Bridget Bucktober said, this is more or less just maybe it is so bad it's going to make the next idea not look as bad. So it does well. So maybe that's what it is too. It's going to talk about baseball and setting up for the next rules. Like, well, this is as bad as that one, so we'll let this one slide. Maybe that's what's going to happen here too. But either way, guys, there you go. Strategy. He is a baseball guy after all. So now past an hour. Anything else we want to add in here? Talk about, discuss?
Nah.
No, I'm good.
So Friday, Sicko Sound Off, 8 p.m. It is live in Discord right now. If you want to join, get in there, go to our show, contest, react to that, maybe get your chance to come on. And then Saturday, Jim, you and I will be in Dallas. The start of the winter meetings next week. Starbucks will be Monday morning and then just filled with content all throughout the week. So
yeah, I'm excited.
A lot of stuff come up. I'm really excited.
Hopefully we do something big like we did last year when we traded for Marco Gonzalez.
Yeah. I mean, that was early. Monday morning we were talking about that. That set the tone for the winter meetings.
That's the biggest move of the week. I think Marco got traded twice that week.
He did.
Yeah.
Got traded to Atlanta and then right to Pittsburgh. So stay tuned. Lots of content coming out. Get that turn that bell on, all you subscribers. That way you're alerted every time we go live. So we'll catch you guys in and like the video, like, subscribe, join memberships. Go ahead and join the memberships. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Cyrus Scouts.
See you guys. All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.